Good day children, Sai Ram and welcome back to our second session of chapter number 9, Trade. Children, in the previous lecture we have learned about what is trade and what is the importance of trade for an economy. Okay, why trade is so much important that we have learned in the previous lecture. Now children, let's continue with our lesson. Let's learn something else about trade. Here is one do you know part. Okay, we'll see what is there in this do you know part. As you all know children, trade is an age-old concept. We have learned about it. We know since the ancient times, since ancient civilization, trade has been very much important. In ancient and medieval periods, trade was done through barter system. I hope children you all know what is the meaning of barter system. Barter system means goods in exchange of goods. Money was not at all used as a medium. Okay, that is called as barter system. In this, there was an exchange of goods with other goods. Grains were exchanged in lieu of work done, or oil, salt, honey, and milk were exchanged for grains. Okay, so this was the things that were exchanged for the work done by the people in the village. There was no currency used in this trade. As I told you first also, money was not at all used as a medium. There was no currency used in this trade. Even today, we see traders who exchange utensils in lieu of old clothes, but this creates problems of estimating a proper price of commodities. If you have seen this bhandiwalis, what you come to your house, what they do? They just keep on telling your mother to get more and more clothes for just giving one utensil. Okay, this is not at all fixed. She will not tell that to give only 2 clothes and I will give you this utensil. She just goes on demanding, no, get more, like this she will go on doing. Why? Because we have not fixed the right price for it. Okay, so it becomes very much difficult. But this creates problems of estimating a proper price of the commodities. Earlier too, such problems were encountered. As a result, the use of currency started. Today in this modern age, trade is carried out with the help of currency only. But barter system is still prevalent to a small extent in remote areas amongst the tribal people. So today also we are having this barter system. Okay, but not on a major level, only up to a certain limit. Next is geographical explanation. Let's have a geographical explanation. Now, at times what happens? There is buying and selling of goods. Okay, wherein we go to a shop and we give money to the shopkeeper and we buy the goods and come back. So, when we are having the good in the hand and the money is given to the shopkeeper, that is called as visible trade. That means the good which we have brought, that is visible to you. So, it is called as visible trade. While at times what happens, sometimes you give the money to the shopkeeper but there is nothing in the hand. Okay, that means it is invisible. Now what is that? When there is an exchange of services, at times what happens, we get the service. Okay, it is called as invisible trade. What it is called as? Invisible trade, because no good is in our hand. Okay, only service is given to you and because of that service you have given money to the person. Okay, for example, when you go to a doctor, the doctor gives you service, checks you, prescribes you with the medicines. Okay, but is the doctor giving you actually any good in your hand? No, the doctor is not giving you any good in your hand. Okay, so here then also we are giving money to the doctor. That means we are doing invisible trade over here. Okay, even though the good is not in our hand, we are giving the money to the doctor. That means that is called as invisible trade. Understood children? So there are two types, that is visible trade and invisible trade. I hope you all have understood what is the meaning of visible trade and invisible trade. Can you give me some example of invisible trade children? Yes, very good. Okay, when you are going to a barber shop, is the barber giving you anything in your hand? No. but he's cutting your hair, and in exchange of that you are giving the barber some money. Okay, so that also becomes your invisible trade. Understood, children? Okay, let's continue. You can see in this picture over here, in A picture we can see visible trade, wherein the shopkeeper is giving vegetables to the lady while the lady is giving money to the shopkeeper. So actually the good is in the hand. So we can say that it is visible trade. While if you see the second picture, that is B picture, in that you can see a doctor is advising the patient. But is the doctor giving any good to the patient? No, only advising the patient. Okay, while the patient is giving money to the doctor. This is called as invisible trade. Understood the difference between visible trade and invisible trade, children? Okay, very good. Now let's learn about types of trade. Trade, there are two types. One is on the basis of quantity of goods. How much goods? Okay, how much is the quantity of the goods? Depending upon that, it is divided into two parts. One is wholesale trade and second one is retail trade. While if you see, the second type is on the basis of extent of trade, where the trade is extending up to. Whether it is on domestic or internal trade, or whether it is on international level. Okay, so on the basis of extent of trade region, which is divided into two parts again, domestic or internal trade, and the second one is international or external trade. Understood, children? So these are the two types of trade we are going to learn in detail. Okay, firstly we'll start on the basis of quantity of goods. As I told you, on the basis of quantity of goods, again two types are there. One is wholesale trade and one is retail trade. Understood, children? I hope everyone has understood what is types of trade. Trade is categorized on two types, that is on the basis of quantity and on the basis of extent. Okay? Now, firstly we'll start with the wholesale trade. The word wholesale, many a times you all must have heard this word, children. Yes or no? In our day-to-day life, we come across these words many a time. That is wholesale trade. The word wholesale means on a bulk, on a major level. Okay, the sale is on a major level. More of goods is brought together. Okay, traders buy commodities on a large scale directly from the producers. Who are the producers? The factory where the goods are produced. Okay, from there directly the traders, they buy the goods in large quantity, not one or two like us. Okay, we are the consumers, we will buy only one or two. But what does the trader do? They bring it on a large scale, and so only directly they take it from the producer only. Okay, now the commodities are also sold on a large scale to retail traders. At times what happen? The commodities are sold also as a producer buys it. Okay, the buying work is done by the traders from the producers, correct? Now the commodities are sold also on a large scale to the retail traders. Now who are the retail traders? The traders which deal with the commodities on a small scale. Suppose we will not directly go to a wholesaler. We go to a retailer, correct? To buy one good or two good or three good maybe. Okay, so that person from whom we are buying, that is the retail trader. Okay, so the retail trader, the commodities are sold also on a large scale by the wholesalers. This is called wholesale trading. What happens in wholesale trading? They are buying the commodities on a large scale, as well as they are selling also the commodities on a large scale only. Okay, both the work, buying and selling, both the work they do it on a large scale. Wholesale traders buy goods on a large scale from industrialists, farmers. Okay, for example, the orchard owners of mangoes or oranges sell their entire production to wholesale traders. Okay, They don't take out one mango or one orange and then sell it. No. They sell the full orchard. Okay, the full, how many mangoes are there, how many oranges are there, that full orchard they give it away to one of the wholesale traders. Okay, and in a bulk the wholesale trader is buying that. Okay, that is only called as wholesale trading. Understood, children, what is wholesale trading? Wholesale trading is that trading which buying as well as selling is done on a large scale. Okay, the wholesale trader can buy the goods from either from the industrialist, or they can buy it from the farmers. Okay, the best example is the orchards of mangoes and oranges are entirely given to one of the wholesale trader. That is only called as wholesale trading. Understood, children? So this was your first on the basis of production. Correct. Retail trade. Let's talk about retail trade. When the traders buy goods from the wholesale traders, at times what happens is small shopkeepers which are there, which are nearby our locality and all, they buy the goods from the wholesale traders on a large scale they buy. Okay, when the traders buy goods from wholesale traders and sell it directly to the consumers. Who are the consumers? We common people, those who go to buy the things. Okay, we are called as consumers. Then it is known as retail trading. Okay, when the traders buy goods from the wholesale traders and sell it directly to the consumers, that is called as retail trading. Okay, so this is the difference between a wholesale trading and a retail trading. The quantity of goods sold is less in this case. Here it is not sold on a bulk. Okay, it is not sold on a large scale. It is sold on a very small scale. 1 maybe, 2 maybe, 3 maybe. Okay, on a very small scale the quantity of goods are sold over here. For example, the shopkeepers selling goods, vegetables, vendors in markets, etc. Okay, these are called as retail traders. Understood? So these are the two types of trading, that is wholesale and retail. I hope, children, you all have understood what is the difference between wholesale trade and retail trade. Now let's continue, children. The second type, that is according to the extent of a region. Okay, up till what extent the trade is going on. Okay, depending upon that we will study. According to the extent of region, the buying and selling of goods happen at various levels. Okay, in your locality you are buying. Okay, then between two states also it can be bought and sold. Okay, then between two countries also it can be bought and sold. Okay, so these are the various levels at which the buying and selling of goods is done. So depending upon this, trade can be divided into local, regional, national and international trade. Okay, so according to the various levels at which the trade is taking place, according to that, trade can be divided as local level, regional level, national level as well as international level. So let's learn in detail about this. Firstly, we'll talk is about the domestic trade. Domestic trade means internal trade, the trade which takes place within the country. That is called as internal or domestic trade. Now, this type of trade takes place between different regions within the same country. Okay, for example, take India. In India, when trade is taking between two states, then it is called as domestic trade. What it is called as? Domestic trade or internal trade. It takes place between different regions within the same country. The size of the country, diversity of the country, the distribution and the availability of natural resources affect the internal trade within the country. Why trade is necessary inside the country? Because the size of the country matters. The country is too vast. Okay, that matters. Then the diversity. the differences. Diversity here means the differences in the same country. For example, take India only. India is a diverse country. Okay, we have a lot and lot of languages in our country, religions in our country. Okay, then cultures in our country. There is a lot and lot of diversity in our country. Not only in these things, but also in the physical features. Also, we have a lot of diversity. So it happens that when one part of the country is having much, the other part will have lesser. So because of this much and lesser, okay, what happens? A demand is created, and when a demand is created, trade takes place. Okay, so the size of the country matters, the diversity of the country matters, as well as the distribution and the availability of natural resources. Now, in our country, as we know, the natural resources which are there, they are not evenly distributed. Somewhere it is more, somewhere it is very less. Okay, so because of this unevenness, the trade is very essential. Okay, this affects the internal trade within the country. So which are the factors which affect the internal trade within the country? The size of the country, the diversity of the country, the distribution of the country, and the availability of natural resources. All these are the factors affecting the internal trade that is within the country. Okay, next, the size of population, transport and communication services, the living standard of the people, marketing system lead to large scale internal trade. Okay, because of the size of the population, okay, of any country, the size of the population matters. Okay, if the population is more, the demand is more. When demand is more, trade is more. Okay, and if transport and communication is available, transport and communication services are available, then trade also can take place on a large scale. Then the standard of living of the people also matters. If the people are having their high standard of living, then trade takes place on a large scale. Okay, so that also matters. The living standard of the people, the marketing system, what type of marketing system is available in that country, that also plays a very important role in the large scale internal trade. Which are the things that matters, which leads to the large scale internal trade? The size of the population, transport and communication services, the standard of living of the people, the marketing system which is available in that country. All this also plays a very important role in the large scale internal trade. Factors like geographical conditions and high population also affect the domestic trade. Okay, which are the factors which affect the domestic trade? Geographical conditions. What are geographical conditions? Naturally, the climate, the physical features, all this takes into consideration. That is the geographical conditions. And high population. Okay, because of the population that is very much high, the wants are more, the demands are more, and when demands are more, trade is also more. Okay, so this is how the domestic trade is affected. Understood, children? I hope you all have understood till here, that is domestic trade or internal trade. Okay. Okay, children, I hope you all have understood till here. That's all for today. In the next lecture, we'll continue with the remaining part of the lesson. Till then, thank you, children.